The email from Patterson and Associates arrived at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Trust fund accessible upon your 25th birthday next month. Current value $6.8 million. I stared at the number. Dad had died when I was 12, leaving everything in a trust I couldn't touch until 25. I'd known it existed. Mom mentioned it occasionally, but seeing the actual figure made my hands shake. I forwarded it to Mom with a single line, "Did you know it was this much?" Her response came in seconds. "Don't tell Richard's family, not yet." I looked up from my phone. My stepbrother Derek stood in my apartment doorway, gym bag over his shoulder. He'd been crashing on my couch for 6 weeks after his third failed startup collapsed. "What's got you smiling?" Derek asked. I locked my phone. "Nothing, work stuff." But Derek had already seen enough. His eyes narrowed slightly, then he grinned. "Cool. Hey, you still meeting with lawyers this week?" My stomach dropped. "How did your calendars sync to the kitchen tablet, man?" He shrugged. "Patterson and Associates, estate planning, right? Inheritance stuff." I said nothing. "That's great," Derek continued, voice too casual. "Really happy for you. Your dad was smart with money. He left for the gym." I sat alone, Mom's warning echoing in my head. Over the next 3 weeks, Derek's questions multiplied. "How much are we talking? Ballpark? When do you actually get access? You'd help family out, right? I mean, if someone needed a business loan." I kept my answers vague. Derek's last 3 businesses had failed spectacularly. A cryptocurrency trading platform, an organic meal delivery service, and something involving NFTs he could never quite explain. His father Richard had funded all 3, losing over $200,000 in the process. Mom pulled me aside at Sunday dinner. "Derek's been asking Richard about your trust fund. He thinks it's family money that should be shared." Her face was tight. "Be careful. I haven't told him anything. He doesn't need you to tell him. He's already decided he's entitled to it." That night, Derek cornered me in my apartment kitchen. "I need $50,000, just a bridge loan until my new venture gets funding." "Derek, I don't even have access yet." "But you will. Next week, right? Your birthday?" His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Come on, we're brothers, stepbrothers," I said quietly. "And I'm not loaning money for another business that what?" His voice hardened. "That fails. You think you're better than me because your dead daddy left you millions. I think I'm not responsible for your financial decisions." He stared at me for a long moment, then laughed without humor. "You're going to regret being selfish." My 25th birthday was a Wednesday. The appointment with Patterson and Associates was scheduled for 2 p.m. in their downtown office, 14th floor of the Hartwell building. I took the morning off work fielding texts from Mom. "Yo, wasin kun. Yetsit si. Looking forward to celebrating tonight." Nothing from Derek. The Hartwell building was undergoing elevator maintenance. Signs everywhere warned about construction. Certain shafts offline. Caution tape blocking access. I checked my phone for the office number. Suite 1407. The elevator bank was mostly empty. Lunch hour, everyone already upstairs. I pressed the button for 14, reviewing the trust documents on my phone. "Hey," I spun around. Derek stood 5 feet away, hands in his jacket pockets. My heart jumped. "Jesus, you scared me." "Sorry." He didn't look sorry. "Lawyer's appointment today, right?" "Derek, what are you doing here?" "We need to talk about the money." His voice was flat. "The 50,000. Actually make it 100. I found investors, but they want to see I have skin in the game." The elevator dinged. Doors opened to an empty shaft. Just darkness and concrete 3 floors below. The maintenance crew had forgotten to replace the caution tape. I stepped back instinctively. "The elevator's not." "I know," Derek said. "Perfect timing, actually. We can talk without interruptions." Something in his tone made my pulse spike. We were alone in this corridor. The shaft gaped behind me like an open mouth. "Derek, I'm not giving you money for another. Transfer the trust today." He moved, both hands on my chest, shoving hard. I stumbled backward, arms pinwheeling, and then there was nothing beneath my feet. The fall lasted forever, and no time at all. 3 floors, 45 feet. My scream cut off when my back met concrete at terminal velocity. Sound vanished. Pain arrived in waves, crushing, totalizing, then strangely absent. I tried to move my legs. Nothing. Tried again. Nothing. Above me, Derek's face appeared over the edge of the shaft, backlit by fluorescent lights. Our eyes met. He looked shocked that I was conscious. Then he ran. I lay on cold concrete, unable to feel anything below my chest, and understood with perfect clarity. My stepbrother had just tried to murder me. Building security found me 4 minutes later. I heard footsteps, shouts, someone screaming into a phone. "We need paramedics." Now man fell down the elevator shaft. "He's conscious." The security guard knelt beside me. "Don't move, sir. Help is coming." "Can you tell me what happened?" "My stepbrother," I whispered. "Derek Morrison. He pushed me." The guard's eyes widened. "Someone pushed you. Check the cameras. 3rd floor corridor." "He pushed me and ran." Paramedics arrived in 7 minutes. They stabilized my neck, slid a board beneath me, secured my head. I watched their faces as they checked my legs, squeezed my feet, ran something sharp along my soles. "Can you feel this?" "No." "How about this?" "No." One paramedic met the other's eyes. I saw everything in that look. They rushed me to St. Catherine's Medical Center. Calling ahead. "Spinal trauma, high thoracic, patient has no sensation below mid-chest. We're looking at cord injury." The ER was controlled chaos. Trauma team surrounded me within seconds, cutting off my clothes, starting IVs, shouting orders. Someone held my hand. "I'm Dr. Kowalski, orthopedic surgery. Can you tell me what happened?" "Fell 3 floors, landed on my back, pushed or fell." "Pushed my stepbrother." She made a note, eyes sharp. "We're taking you for imaging now. CT first, then MRI. We need to see what's happening with your spine." The CT scan took 12 minutes. The MRI took 45. I lay perfectly still in the machine's tunnel, listening to it clunk and whir, mapping the destruction of my spinal cord in millimeter slices. Dr. Kowalski met me in the ER bay afterward, tablet in hand. "You have a burst fracture of your T7 vertebra. The bone fragments are compressing your spinal cord. We need emergency surgery to decompress and stabilize." "Will I walk again?" The pause lasted 3 seconds too long. "We're focusing on preventing further damage right now. The cord is severely compressed. Until we can visualize it directly during surgery, I can't give you a prognosis." Which meant no. The answer was no. Police arrived while they prepped me for surgery. Detective Reyes pulled a chair beside my gurney. "Building security gave us the footage," she said quietly. "We have Derek Morrison on camera, following you into that corridor. We have him tearing down the caution tape 2 minutes before you arrived. And we have clear video of him pushing you into that shaft." Relief flooded through me. "Then you'll arrest him. Warrants already issued. Attempted murder, aggravated assault. We'll have him in custody within hours." She paused. "Your stepbrother made a lot of mistakes. He didn't realize how many cameras that building has. We have 12 different angles." They wheeled me toward the operating room. The anesthesiologist introduced herself, started the IV sedatives. My last conscious thought was of Derek's face, looking down at me from the shaft's edge, surprised I survived. I woke 16 hours later in the ICU, body encased in a surgical brace, monitors beeping steadily. Mom sat beside my bed, face destroyed by tears. "Baby," she whispered. "Oh sweetheart, Derek." My voice was sandpaper. "Arrested at Richard's house 8 hours ago. He's in jail." She gripped my hand. "I'm so sorry. I should have known he was capable of." "Not your fault." "But it was someone's fault." "Derek's, obviously. Richard's for raising a son who thought he was entitled to other people's money. Maybe mine, for not taking the threats seriously enough." Dr. Kowalski appeared, flanked by 2 other surgeons. The surgery went well technically. We decompressed the cord, stabilized the fracture with hardware, but the MRI shows significant cord damage at T7. There's been a complete cord injury, meaning paralysis from mid-chest down is permanent. "I'm very sorry." The words settled over me like concrete. Permanent. Paralysis. Forever. Mom made a sound like something breaking. Over the next week, 16 different neurosurgeons reviewed my case. St. Catherine's was a teaching hospital, and my injury combined with the criminal circumstances made it a significant case study. Each surgeon documented the same findings in their reports. Complete spinal cord injury at T7. Mechanism: high velocity, blunt force trauma, consistent with multi-story fall. Pattern of injury matches patient's account of assault. Prognosis: permanent paralysis below T7 dermatome. Patient will require lifetime wheelchair use and extensive rehabilitation. 16 sworn medical professionals, 16 expert opinions, all agreeing on cause, mechanism, and outcome. The prosecutor, Assistant DA, Jennifer Wong, visited on day 9. She sat beside my bed, case file thick in her lap. "Mr. Morrison, I want to be very clear about what we have. 12 security cameras captured your stepbrother's actions. We have him following you, tearing down safety tape, waiting for you and pushing you. We recovered his phone. He'd been Googling elevator accidents and inheriting if air dies for 3 weeks. We have text messages where he demanded money. And we have 16 neurosurgeons willing to testify about your injuries." She paused. "This is the most documented attempted murder case I've handled in 15 years. Derek Morrison is going to prison for a very long time." "Good," I said. My voice surprised me. Flat. Emotionless. Shock, probably. Or maybe the pain medication. "There's something else." Wong's expression shifted. "Your stepbrother was texting someone during the time he was waiting for you. We pulled the phone records. He was texting his father, your stepfather Richard." My chest tightened. "What did they say?" "Quote, he's here, about to sign the papers. If this works we split it 50-50. Richard replied. "Make sure there are no witnesses." The room spun. "Richard knew," I whispered. "Richard may have helped plan it. We're investigating him as an accessory. If we can prove he knew about the plan beforehand, he'll face charges too." Derek's arraignment happened while I was still in the ICU. Mom showed me the news coverage on her phone. Derek in an orange jumpsuit, shackled, being led into court. Bail set at $5 million. He couldn't make it. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. He tried to steal $6.8 million and ended up unable to afford $500,000 to bond out. Richard tried to visit once. Hospital security stopped him at the entrance. Mom had filed a restraining order against both Richard and Derek. She'd also filed for divorce. "I brought him into our lives," Mom said, voice breaking. "I let his son live with you. This is my fault." "It's Derek's fault," I said firmly. "And Richard's, not yours." But I could see she didn't believe me. Physical therapy started in week 3. Learning to transfer from bed to wheelchair. Learning to dress myself with useless legs. Learning to catheterize myself because my bladder no longer worked properly. Learning to live in a body that ended at my chest. The occupational therapist, Marcus, was relentlessly positive. "You're young, smart, and you've got resources. You'll adapt faster than you think." Resources. Right. The trust fund. Patterson and Associates had finally transferred access during my second week in the hospital. The $6.8 million Derek had tried to murder me for now sat in my account, ready to pay for custom wheelchairs, accessible vehicles, home modifications, and decades of medical care. Everything Derek wanted, now paying for everything Derek caused. The trial started 11 months later. I rolled into the courtroom in a carbon fiber wheelchair, $38,000, paid for by Dad's trust fund, wearing a suit tailored to fit someone who sits permanently. Derek looked smaller somehow. Jail had aged him. His public defender looked exhausted. The prosecutor's opening statement was devastating. "Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant pushed his stepbrother down an elevator shaft to steal a $6.8 million trust fund. We have video footage. We have text messages. We have internet search history showing premeditation. And we have 16 neurosurgeons who will testify that the victim will never walk again because of the defendant's greed." The trial lasted 6 days. 12 security camera angles played in sequence, showing Derek following me, tearing down caution tape, waiting then pushing. His deleted internet searches were recovered and displayed. How to make a fall look accidental. spinal injuries from fall,
elevator shaft death.
8 of the 16 neurosurgeons testified, each one describing my MRI scans in clinical detail, pointing to the severed spinal cord on the projected images. Derek's defense was that it was an accident, that he'd reached out to steady me, and accidentally pushed me instead. The jury deliberated for 90 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing happened 3 weeks later. Judge Patricia Morrison, no relation to Derek, ironically read the verdict with barely contained fury. Mr. Morrison, you pushed your stepbrother down an elevator shaft because you wanted his inheritance. You planned it. You Googled it. You waited for the perfect moment. And now a young man will spend his entire life in a wheelchair because of your greed. She paused. This court sentences you to 25 years to life in state prison. Derek's mother sobbed in the gallery. Richard sat beside her, staring at nothing. He'd been charged as an accessory but taken a plea deal. 5 years in exchange for testimony about Derek's planning. Both of them would be in prison. Both of them had destroyed their lives, trying to steal mine. I rolled out of the courtroom into autumn sunlight. Mom walked beside me, her hand on my shoulder. It's over, she said. But it wasn't over. It would never be over. Every morning I'd wake up, unable to feel my legs. Every day I'd transfer from bed to wheelchair, to car to wheelchair again. Every night I'd lie in bed, remembering the sensation of walking that was now just a memory. Derek got 25 years. I got forever, but at least I got to live it.